It'll be deadly, precise, and above all, surprising.
Florida, the western coast of Florida.
West Asia is in turmoil. Hello everybody. Recently there were explosions in Lebanon in which various electronic devices such as pagers, walkie-talkies and even solar equipments were used as a potential explosive device. Now the Lebanese officials think that these are done by the Israeli Defense Forces, who also categorically don't deny the same. We can imagine the level of technology the Israeli Defense Forces are using and the contours of it. While it may sound very interesting and fascinating to the world that how these tiny equipments can be manipulated and such large scale destruction can be carried out, but it's really a matter of concern for all of us and our security. Now the Israeli Defense Forces have claimed that they have eliminated the Lebanon-based terror group Hezbollah chief Nasrallah. However, some claim that the death of Nasrallah is serious concern and are mourning, while others have congratulated Israel for the elimination of the terrorist chief. In the backdrop of this development, Iran launched an offensive over Israel by hitting it with ballistic missiles. While Israel claimed that most of the missiles were intercepted by the Iron Dome, it suffered some casualties. However, these all have raised a greater debate about terrorism. That is terrorism a global phenomenon? Can a state act as a terrorist? And are there state-sponsored terrorism? And also the fact that is religious fundamentalism and conservatism responsible for the proliferation of terror camps and the vicious terror attacks around the world? Please watch this full video before forming any opinion about me and terrorism. Let's deep dive into the various terrorist attacks that happened all around the world. And the first attack, 6 September 1972, the Munich Olympic Massacre. The massacre was an attack during the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, West Germany, at which 11 Israeli Olympic team members were taken hostage and eventually killed, along with the German police officers. The attack was orchestrated by the Palestinian terrorist group Black September. On 17th May 1974, the Dublin and the Monaghan bombings took place. The bombings killed 33 civilians and injured almost 300. The Ulster Volunteer Force (UVF), a loyalist paramilitary group from the Northern Ireland, claimed responsibility for the bombings. Coming next, 21st November 1974, the Birmingham pub bombings. On 21st November 1974, bombs exploded in two pubs in Birmingham. The explosion killed 21 people and injured 182. The deadliest attacks were seen as the deadliest to the terrorism in UK. The 2005 London bombings, the Provisional Irish Republican Army took responsibility of it. 20th November 1979, the Grand Mosque siege of the Mecca. This all happened in Saudi Arabia. The Grand Mosque of Mecca was seized on November and December 1979 when extremist insurgents calling for the overthrow of the House of Saud took over Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The insurgents declared that the Mahdi, the Redeemer of Islam, had arrived in the form of one of their leaders, Muhammad Abdullah al-Khatani, and called all of the Muslims to obey them. The battle lasted for more than 2 weeks and officially 560 were injured and many dead, although diplomats suggested that the toll was higher. 18th April 1983, the US Embassy bombings in Beirut. The United States Embassy bombing was suicide bombing in Beirut, Lebanon, that killed 63 people, mostly embassy staff members, several soldiers, and one marine officer. 17 of the dead were Americans. A pro-Iranian group calling itself the Islamic Jihad organization took responsibility for the bombings in a telephone call to a news office immediately after the blast. 23rd October 1983, Beirut barracks bombing. In 1982, Israel invaded its neighbor Lebanon. During this war, a pro-Israeli Lebanese group carried out a massacre of between 800 to 2,000 Palestinian soldiers. A 2nd June 1985, Air India Flight 182. Air India Flight 182 operating on the Montreal, Canada, London, UK, Delhi, India route was destroyed by a bomb at an altitude of 31,000 feet, 9,400 meters. It crashed into the Atlantic Ocean while in Irish airspace. First bombing of 747 jet 268 Canadian citizens, 727 Britons were killed. Canadian citizens of Indian ancestry were the largest casualty. The main suspects in the bombing were the members of the Sikh militant group Babbar Khalsa. The attack is thought to have been a retaliation against India for their operation carried out by the Indian army to flush out several hundred Sikh militants who were within the premises of the Golden Temple and the surrounding structures. 26th February 1993, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. In 1993, a terrorist group, Al Qaeda, and a terrorist named Muhammad Yusuf Ramzi Yusuf detonated a truck bomb in the parking lot beneath the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center site in Manhattan, New York City. Yusuf had planned for the explosion to cause Tower 1 to collapse, leading to the collapse of Tower 2, killing all the civilians inside. However, although the explosions caused significant damage to the parking lot and the lower floors of the World Trade Center, the towers remained standing. 6 people were killed in the attack. This was one of the deadliest bombings in America to occur in this century. Yusuf had spent time training in Al Qaeda in Afghanistan with his nephew Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, one of the architects of the September 11, 2001 attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon buildings. In pre-planned letters and his own trial, Yusuf cited United States support for Israel as a justification for attacking the World Trade Center. As a symbol of economic might of the USA, the World Trade Center would remain a target for terrorists linked to Al Qaeda. However, these were not only the terrorist attacks. The major terrorist attack which India faced the brutality were the 12th March 1993 Mumbai bombings. In 1993, Mumbai bombings were a series of explosions that took place in Mumbai, India on 12th March 1993 at a stock exchange, hotels, and a major shopping mall. The coordinated attacks were the most destructive bomb explosions in Indian history. This was the first such group of serial bombings in the world. However, these were not only the attacks that plundered India. The attacks were coordinated by Dawood Ibrahim, the underworld don who led these bombings. The leader of Mumbai-based international organized crime syndicate named D Company, who have been linked to a terrorist group including Al Qaeda. Ibrahim is believed to have ordered and helped organize the bombings in Mumbai through his subordinates Tiger Mena and Yaqub Memon. Yaqub Memon was finally hanged to death while granted the death punishment by the Supreme Court of India. 20th March 1995, the Tokyo subway sarin attacks. Japan, which is known for its heavenly abode, is a quite peaceful country, but the Tokyo subway sarin attack was an act of domestic terrorism perpetrated on March 20, 1995 in Tokyo, Japan by members of the cult movement Om Shinrikyo. In 5 coordinated attacks, the perpetrator released sarin, a powerful nerve gas, on several lines of the Tokyo subway during the rush hour, killing 12 people, severely injured 50, and causing permanent or temporary vision problems for over 1,000 others. The attack was directed against trains passing through Kasumikesi and Nagacho, home to the Japanese people. It is the most serious of the attacks to occur in Japan since the end of World War II. The prosecution later said that it was an attempt to bring down the government and install Soko Ashara, the group's founder, as the Emperor of Japan. Shortly after the attack, Om lost its status as a religious organization and many of its assets were seized. The tight Japanese parliament rejected a request from the government official to outlaw the group, which continues to exist even today, although it has been renounced violence. Next, the 31st January 1996 Colombo Central Bank. 31st January 1996 Colombo's Central Bank bombing. Sri Lanka, one of the deadliest attacks carried out by the Liberation Tigers of Tamilam LTTE, or the Tamil Tigers, during the Sri Lankan Civil War 1983-2009. The bomb was detonated by a suicide bomber driving a lorry which contained 440 pounds of high explosives, killing and injuring 1400 other. 11th September 2001. 11th September attacks. 19 terrorists from Al Qaeda hijacked four commercial airplanes deliberately, crashing two of the planes into the floors of the north and south towers of the World Trade Center complex and a third plane into the Pentagon in Arlington. The deadliest attack to be have taken place in the United States of America. The twin towers were burst apart and collapsed because of the damage sustained from the impacts and the resulting fires, which weakened the support columns. After learning about the other attacks on the fourth hijacked plane, Flight 93 fought back and the plane was crashed into an empty field in the western Pennsylvania about 20 minutes by air from Washington, D.C. In total, the attacks killed 2,977 people. 2,753 people were killed in New York, 184 were killed in the air at the Pentagon, and 40 people were killed on Flight 93. 26 November 2008, the siege of Mumbai. In November 2008, 10 members of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, an Islamist militant group organization of Pakistan, carried out a series of attacks in Mumbai. They were based out of the Taj Hotel in Mumbai and they coordinated shooting and bombing attacks lasting for 4 days across Mumbai. Transport terminals, cafes, hotels, cinemas, and hospitals were targeted. LET reiterated its aim to introduce an Islamic state in South Asia and to liberate Muslims residing in Indian Kashmir. The attacks drew widespread global condemnation, killing 164 people and wounding at least 308. We have seen a series of events that have occurred all around this. We have seen a series of reasons for attacks and the underlying reasons behind those attacks. Meanwhile, these all examples have a varied range of reasons for attacks. Some of them were done for nation sovereignty, while some were due to the religious fundamentalism. Some were due to religious conservatism. Some were due to aggression. While one may argue that these attacks mainly have been done by a particular community, by Islamist organization, and thereby religious terrorism can be generalized, but it's not the case. Generalizations at a stage where a minuscule percentage of population is involved is not justified. The teachings of Islam have been highly misinterpreted and that's causing the problem. There have been incidents where people have lost their lives due to these terrorist attacks, but blaming some community and blaming some people for this particular kind of attack is not justified. The time has come when we have to leave our preconceived notions about terrorism and lead the fight to eliminate terrorism. For more such updates and videos, subscribe to our channel and do like and subscribe the video.